Right, amazing. So today we're going to talk about supercharging your Instagram stories. It's a topic I'm hugely passionate about. I feel that Instagram stories are the catalyst of your persuasion strategy. So convincing someone to take action starts and ends with your Instagram stories. Your reels are cool, your photos are cool, your carousels are cool, those guide things that no one ever used are all cool. But your stories can be the catalyst. And so the reason your fans don't care about your stories is because you don't care about the fans. And so when we really deep that, we think, what am I sharing on my story? I am giving instructions for people to pre-save. I am telling people to watch on YouTube. I am demanding that they buy tickets. And we are not using our stories properly. And so you need to replace promotion with emotion. Right? I have that on a t-shirt. So you need to give fans a reason to want to do whatever you're asking. And the brutal truth is that you're actually selling to fans who don't want your support. You're trying to sell to them and they don't care about you. And so you have to flip that on its head. And in many ways, you are all personal brands who are selling attention, right? You may not be selling tickets, you may not be selling merch, you may not be selling anything except attention. And out of the 24 hours in a day, you have to make people want to watch your story. You'll have those friends that they appear first on your feed and they're the one you go to first to watch their story because they captivate you. They compel you to want to watch every single day what they're doing. And I know the feeling. Life can be boring. You go to the office, you go to college, you come home, you sit in your studio, and you're like, what the fudge do I say? How do I become interesting when my life is not that interesting? So today, I'm going to show you 10 different ways to make fans want to stream, spend money with you, and support you from Instagram stories. And to do that, I want to tell you a story about my friend, Annabelle. So she's an amazing DJ. I highly recommend you follow her. And we were just voice noting 5 minutes ago when I put this, I was building my slides an hour ago. And the funny thing about Annabelle is she, as a DJ, tells you all the stories about shit that goes wrong in her life. So when she goes on a really bad first date, she shares all the tea. When she misses her flight, she tells you the crazy story of how she missed her flight. And it might be in 25 individual stories, but you best believe you want to watch every single one to find out what happened. And so Annabelle, to me, is one of the perfect examples of an artist who has a deep connection with her fans. And so some of you might be thinking, well, that's too much personal information. I don't want to reveal that much. Some of you might be thinking, I'm an introvert. I don't want to talk to the camera. Some of you might even be thinking, well, mad stuff doesn't happen to me that often. I'm pretty organized. I never miss my flight. And so I want you to think about your birthday. Kind of crazy. I want you to think about the moment you're graduating. You take a picture. You ask people to take it again. You didn't like the angle. You ask them, oh, can you take it from this angle? The lighting's not good. You'll spend ages in an editing app making it absolutely perfect. You'll then write this beautiful caption and you'll obsess over every single word. And you'll make this perfect caption for this perfect post. Sound familiar? I get some thumbs up or some head nods if people agree with what I'm saying. We got a hand raised, good, right? You think of your birthday as this huge milestone. So why do we rush putting new music out? We do it without caring. We share a snippet of a music video. We just share the reel onto our story. Some people do a selfie video just flicking their hair, right? Some people add just no captions, no context. We sabotage ourselves when we release music, but we don't do that for our birthday. And so the trick is to treat every single day like it's your birthday. You celebrate yourself in your Instagram stories. You don't just allow people to scroll past. You have to steal their attention. And so I want everyone to get ready. We're going to open our Instagram cameras. All right, so every single one of us, let's grab our phones, open Instagram camera. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so it's full screen. Okay. Everyone, I want you to go to the actual camera itself. And then on the right-hand side, click this little arrow, and it opens up some icons. And I want you to hit dual. And dual allows you to see what your camera is seeing and see yourself at the same time. And this is one amazing way that you could be in the studio, showing the beat you're making, but also creating content on the screen at the same time. And I think you can actually flip it. And so it's what you're seeing is big, or what yourself is big. You can do it both ways around. This is one incredible way of creating content. The next is called layouts. And layouts are extremely powerful without using any editing app. You can make this example I have on the left-hand side. Very easy. Go to the arrow, hit layout, and a grid appears. So you can either take 4 random photos, the one here, one here, one here, and one here. You can either do it like that, or, because that's not pretty attractive, you can change the grid, and you can do it as half and half. You can do it as rows of 3s, which I love personally. You can do it as one big picture at the top and 2 vertical at the bottom. You can do it as 6 squares or rectangles. And you can do 2 vertical ones. But the best part is you can upload from your camera roll. And you just very simply swipe up. And I've made a folder. To go into the Pirate Studios folder, I would pick a picture of me with DJ H doing a podcast. Then I'll pick the attendees of the pod. And another picture with DJ H. And then in 10 seconds, you've made a really good looking Instagram story. And over the lines, you could just I like to write on the lines. Right, and it makes a very attractive looking Instagram story that captures people's attention and they want to interact with it. Who's feeling this one? Who wants to try this out sometime? Spencer's got some thumbs up. Nicole's got a head nod. Pauline's got thumbs up. Ozzy, Kostavar, I'm glad. The layout's an extremely powerful way that you can create content using multiple pictures. And so a good rule of thumb in your studio is take a wide angle picture, take a mid-range picture, kind of waist up, and then take a close-up picture of kind of just your eyes and your mouth against the mic. So a wide angle, a mid angle, and a close-up is an extremely effective way of doing this. The third example I'm going to show you is copy and pasting something from your camera roll. So the example here is I've taken a story of myself where I'm just speaking, and you can either go into your camera roll, I'll pick my son just goofing around. So you go to the image, you hit that little arrow with the square in the bottom left, you click copy photo to put it on the clipboard. This works on Samsung phones, Android phones, and Apple phones. You go back to Instagram, and as if you were going to type some text, you click once and hit paste. Now you can move this little guy around the screen wherever you want. If this was a thumbnail of your artwork, you can use it here. If this was a picture you wanted to have a video of you speaking as the main body of the video, and then a graphic, a thumbnail, and artwork at the bottom, just like my example here, with a link sticker. It's an extremely easy way to do it. Or you can click the smiley face at the top. On the right-hand side, you can go down to this picture here on the right next to the temperature. And you can do the exact same. You can add a picture from your camera roll. It's the same effect, either from copy photo or from sticker. Everyone with me? I'm glad. It's Spencer, I agree, it's fiddly. It is fiddly, but it's great if you have a folder of your album artworks that you want to take a selfie and superimpose that on top. You don't need any fancy apps to do this.
I'm a Samsung user over here, so I'm the odd man out, but
should work the same way, right?
Trying to figure it out. But I'll figure it out.
Okay. It should work. Copy photo. Yeah. The next way is doing tweets. I love doing this method. So you can use Instagram threads or a regular tweet. So you would find a tweet that you like. And I like to just position it a little bit like this, but there's a lot of clutter in this tweet. You go to the drawing menu, you find the exact color of the background, and you'd get rid of anything that does not look good. It takes just a moment. And once you scrub out anything that does not look good, what you can do now is from the corner, hit the 3 dots, and you can save this as a new image. So then in story number 1, I would delete some of the text. And so story number 1, you have a hook. You have something mysterious that people want to watch the next story to find out what happens. After 4 years, I've decided to close the doors to my agency and start something new. People want the next story. In the next story, you'd have, I became detached from the word agency because. They're like, because what? And they want the next story. And then you'd have, when you stop paying, the results stop. I want to break that cycle. Here's how I'll become the change. And then in the story after that, which is down below, I would screenshot and do the same process again. It makes people want to tap forward rather than tap and exit. And you can use this to your advantage. You can announce the release date of your song. You could show what time you're performing at a set somewhere. You could do anything using this strategy. You simply write them as tweets, notes on your phone, whatever, screenshot them, paste them in, and decide to edit and draw all over your camera. Does that land with everyone? A little bit fiddly, but it's an amazing way how you can use this to your advantage. I'm glad. Sunny, Jacob, Ben, good. Sophie, thank you. This next one is quite fun as well. One of my favorite ways to do this. I don't want to post this. Undo. So this next method, you could take a story, like a picture of yourself. And what I like to do personally is change the filter to black and white. And then using the draw tool, you go to the highlighter, the third icon at the top. When you then take a gray and hold down, it washes out the whole image. Right? So you could do that in any color you like. You could do it in bright green. You have to undo it once. You just hold down and it washes the whole image in that color. One amazing way where you can then type in white text on the top. I'll do it one last time. You pick any color you like from the bottom. I'd pick a gray personally for my aesthetic. Hold down with your finger. And then when you type, tonight I'm hosting a Pirate Studios masterclass, etc., etc., etc. You can change the size of the text on this side. You can also change the font at the bottom into anything you like. But maybe one button you didn't know, which I have coming up later, is animation. You hit this icon here at the top, and each font has a specific animation for that exact font type. These are some really cool ways just to make your content pop a little bit more. This one's quite engaging as well. Any questions on how to do this so far with the faded effect? Has it all landed well?
I have a quick question. Sorry.
Of course. Yep.
When I hold it down, it goes like completely that color, and I don't know how to make it so it's like the opacity is.
Yeah, you're using the pen, dude. You're not using the highlighter.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
Go to draw, and instead of the pen at the first one, the third tool over here is the highlighter.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
Hi there, Ayaz. I've got a question just about the animations one. So for the text on the animation, when I've used it previously in the past, it only really, and I know some of them it works better than others, but some of them can be a bit jarring because they only last for maybe a couple of seconds. I was wondering if there's a way to extend that at all, or is that not possible?
Not to my knowledge, mate. Yeah.
Okay.
Just whatever is the default is the default.
All right, no worries. Thank you.
Of course, happy to help. This is a good way. I personally like to type a lot of text on a faded background because that way it encourages people to hold their finger to read. And so the more duration people spend on a story, the more that signals the algorithm, this is the highly engaged story people are reading, show it to more people. And so it's in your best interest to make every word count, but break up lots of different paragraphs. One huge ass chunk of paragraph will make people not want to read. But how you do this is you make sure there's lots of paragraph breaks so that people want to read the whole thing. We have 2 questions. So Alexis, at the top, when you hit the 3 arrows and click draw, there are these different pens at the top.
Sorry, what's 3 arrows? Sorry.
So you know when you have taken a photo on an Instagram story?
Yeah, I'm on it now.
You're at the camera stage, right?
Sorry.
You're at this stage, you take a photo.
Yeah.
Top right-hand corner, there's 3 dots.
Well, it doesn't look like that for me, but yeah.
Do you not have this draw button here?
Sorry, I just have to go back, see, because I don't know. Yeah, I have it now. So was it draw?
Draw. So then the first one is a pen. The third one is a highlighter.
I haven't got a third one. I've only got 2 options and then 3 dots like going across. So, and it says pen, arrow, neon, chalk.
Sorry to hear. Some methods you can do is update your Instagram app to the latest version. And if you don't, then it perhaps may not be available in your country, I'm afraid.
I'm in the UK. I'm in London.
You're in the UK. Okay, sorry, crazy. Sometimes different folks, different updates. Yeah. Sorry, Alexis. Yeah, it's not a needle mover. It's just a way to make an aesthetic. Sorry, I can't be of more help. Asia. So if you're actually on the actual camera, you hit the arrow to go down, and dual is here on the right-hand side. Marilyn, I don't know. There's no way to make it more faded. Unfortunately not. And Vic, yeah, I'm happy to send the slides out. If Talia can give me the email addresses of everyone present, I'm happy to download the slides to everyone. No problem. Yeah, no problem. I got you. Number 6 was emphasis colored words. This is fiddly to do, but quite easy. So if I were to take a bunch of text saying, hi, everyone, the number one tip to make sales in your Instagram stories is to start conversations. How you make individual words into colors is just simply double tap on that word. And using the circles at the end, you can extend which words you're highlighting. And if you hit the color swatch, you can then make specific words in specific colors. Right? If you want to get really, really fancy, you can make individual letters into individual colors. And so on and so on and so forth. Right? Again, this doesn't move the needle, but it is an amazing way to get people to engage with your content because something stands out to them. And what you can then do is ask the right question that makes people want to have a conversation with you, which we're going to get to in a very short number of minutes. I personally have a look and feel that I go for. So I like the block font written in all capitals, using the shadow tool at the top. I would put a block around it, highlight certain words in red. That's my personal aesthetic, but you can pick anything you want. Hey, Vic, how are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Just a quick question actually on this. So in your opinion, do you think the Instagram algorithm performs better when you're using the inbuilt features for text for doing something like this? Or alternatively, you could actually create this in Canva as an image and upload it.
You
so
definitely
yeah,
do it in Canva, bro. Yeah. I'm talking from a place of speed, not from a place of what will perform better.
Oh, okay.
It's just fast to do this from the Instagram app on the go.
Yeah.
You absolutely could design something. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. I've read up that if you use more of the inbuilt tools in Instagram, it tends to perform better than just using an external app and uploading it as an image. I could be wrong, but I was just curious to see if you knew anything.
To me, dude, I think the message is more important than the method.
Yeah.
So if the words you say are emotional, powerful, compelling, it makes people want to interact with it. Whereas if it's a fancy graphic and a fancy font, but it doesn't make people feel, I think they scroll past it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All good. Sydney, did you have a question, by the way?
Yeah, just a quick one. I was just curious, like, what percentage of your posts or stories are you using these techniques for?
Pretty much every story, every possible story I make, I use one of these techniques.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. If you follow me, like at least every post will have captions and text and one of these 10 mechanics, almost guaranteed. Yes, Sophia, we are. We definitely are. So, Davina, go ahead.
Hey, I'm sorry, I have a quick question. I missed the method. Could you just name the first one? Not like describing, just name it. What was the first one?
This method here, do you mean?
No, the first. That's the sixth.
Oh, number one was dual camera.
Ah, okay.
Right.
Okay,
Number two was layouts.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
All good. Yeah. Sophia, we are going to get onto emotions. We've kind of covered animations already. Right, this one is powerful. This is the stickers into the DM. So there are a range of different stickers, as I'm sure you all know, right? And there is the poll feature, right, where you can change the color of the banner. And I like to ask a specific question that guides the outcome. So for example, I might say, which YouTube video do you want first? So not which YouTube video do you want, which acoustic cover do you want? I'm not asking that. I'm asking which one you want first. And what that does is it gets your audience to vote, thinking you've made all three anyway, but this is the one I want. And then you can actually create what your community asks for. Another powerful way of doing this is to ask an opinion. Like you could share a small snippet of a beat. You said, what do you think, guys? Is this fire or does it need something else? And people can vote on each of the options. And what you do then is the people who voted option B, you can actually go and hit this little curved arrow, and it allows you to DM them and start a conversation. So I'll give you an example. So if we go into my archive, excuse me. So on this one, I've been making different advice. Should I make productivity, self-development, or anxiety management? And if you scroll up, you will see who has voted for which option. There's 18 votes for productivity apps. And so by hitting this arrow, it starts a quick chat with that person. And when you do create that type of content, you can say, hey, Nova, thanks so much for voting on my poll that you wanted more productivity app content. I've just made some. Would you like the link? And you go down to the next person, the next person, the next person, and you go through the list of people. Then you, excuse me, at the top, you'd go over to the option B, go through the list of people. Option C, go through the list of people. If they've taken the time to vote on your content, I think you owe it to them to interact with them once you fulfill that wish. And so you can use this for anything in the world. Let me find another example. So which content should I release first? And 11 people have voted for they want a motivation podcast. So when I do create that, I know these are the consumers who want it first. And these people nobody wanted a training on building your Instagram bio. But then these people wanted 15 different types of Instagram marketing. So that's my content strategy. But for yourselves, it would be, should I do a Doja Cat freestyle? Should I do a Central C freestyle? Or should I do a Drake freestyle? And you create the content that people want. Alexis, if you go back to the Instagram camera again.
I think I found it. Yeah.
Taking the photo, you hit the smiley face.
Yeah. It's at the little sticker thing. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, got it.
They're all there. Of course.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All good. Other ones here, now we're here, is the slider. So this is a really good way to ask a polarizing question. Let's say you shared a picture of a dinner, like a plate of food. You could say something like, rate my plate, for example. And you can use the heart eyes. So people would slide it all the way to the top, or slide it all the way to the bottom to give their opinion. The way I like to use this is when I would share a tweet. Go back into the archive. Oh my God, how have I not done one in ages? But I'd share who wants parts 2 and 3 to drop. And again, people are all voting that they're positively inclined to want this. And so you can essentially get people to interact with your content and actually decide they agree with something or they disagree. No one on that one. And there are many others. There's the quiz option where you ask people, you might do a music trivia and you might give people 3 wrong answers and 1 correct answer. And you're asking them to vote on the correct one. I'll go over here and just do. In this one I asked, what do you guys prefer? Washed whip or crispy crepes? And you could use the poll sticker to give people 2 different options. And agreed, Sophia, you do learn a lot about your followers. You can see what they want to see from you, and you get them to put their hands up and say, I'm engaging with your content. And this is an amazing way to do it. Another one of my favorites is this little sticker emoji. And it's a very low impact way of getting people to just interact. So I would do something like this, and I would say, who wants tickets to my show? Put a big arrow here. And I'll kind of like this one. And so you're basically encouraging them to tap the sticker if they want tickets. And in the analytics, you can swipe up and see who has tapped that love heart, love eyes emoji. And you can hit each of them up with a DM with the ticket link to your concert. I do this for who wants to book a call with me. I do this for people who want access to a Pirate Studios masterclass. There's a lot of different ways you can use this sticker, and you can change the emoji to anything you want. So you might have it as who wants a phone call with me, or whatever it may be. Or it might be who wants tickets to my show. And you can create the type of sticker that makes people want to interact, right? And all of these mechanics, guys, are built in. It's just how you creatively want to use them. And so I think a lot of what you can use stories for is to spark conversations. It's getting people to tell you they are interested in learning more. And you're leaving money on the table in terms of sales. If you, for example, like this here, book a call with an arrow to an actual phone signal emoji. And this is a powerful way to make sales. Another one of these is the broadcast channel. Now, you'll probably remember everyone was creating their broadcast channels on the same day and inviting everyone to join, and they didn't have a practical use for what their broadcast channel was for. I made fun of it. I said, everyone and their nan has made a broadcast channel. Here's what I'm going to be doing in mine. I promise you I'll never send you the link to a video of mine. I'll only create conversations. I'll give you the thoughts that I'm thinking each morning and each night. And I'll also make sure I'm giving you ideas that you can see and vote which content I should create first. And then if you want a preview, I'll give the preview to you before it's public. So my tribe, I think there's about 70 people in there now, they have a really compelling reason to want to sign up for my broadcast channel. So what you can do is create a sticker that asks people and invites people to join your channel. And if you create the right type of messaging, people will want to join your channel. So I think it's the next one I actually put up. I said, today I'm giving away 2 ChatGPT prompts that can change a basic lip sync into a viral clip. And when you post a link sticker, you can customize the text. So you'd put, I don't know, google.com, but you can customize this to say something like how I search. Bad example. I'd say actually free tickets to my So Far Sounds show. and you give people a link sticker that compels them to want to click. Right, so this is an easy way, and you can tap it and change the color of what it looks like just to blend into your aesthetic. There's so much within the Instagram app that we're not using, guys. And it's very much about telling a narrative each and every day that makes people want to engage. So coming back to the emotional aspect, I try to really share from my heart what I'm doing. And I have a strategy where I'll see you guys here. I personally like to do a morning diary and an evening diary. So in the morning, I set out what I intend to accomplish that day. So I might say, guys, I'm super pumped. I've got a Pirate Studios masterclass tonight. There's so many people registered. I just sent out the email to my tribe. It's going to be fire. Make sure you lock in. That would be my morning story, for example. My evening story would be what I have accomplished. So just wrapped up a brilliant Pirate Studios masterclass. The energy was amazing. Super pumped for the next one in person on 23rd of November. And so I would bridge from something I've done to something I'm next going to do. Does that make sense? So you're using what you have done to then promote what you will do. And many times I understand the feeling of not wanting to tell people my single is coming out soon. You would very much like keep that under wraps until you're ready with the marketing. I personally prefer to get fans involved from the jump so that when I am ready to make the announcement, they've been there the whole time, essentially. Jacobin, how many times do I post a day? Honestly, dude, it depends. It's probably how much I have to say. If I have a lot to say, I might post 5, 6, 7 stories a day. Sometimes I'll post just one. I've personally found there's always one thing to celebrate each day. Whether it's something I'm grateful for, something I'm excited about, something I've just accomplished, there's always one thing at least. Shelley, why is there such a strong focus on stories rather than reels? Okay, stories are the behind the scenes journey of your reels and your photos and your carousels and every other format. Your story is the persuasion strategy. So it's not about promotion, it's about emotion. So I'd rather convince someone to come to my Pirate Studios masterclass rather than just give them the link to attend. You see the difference there? I would rather get people hyped up to want to, I don't know, book in a call with me rather than just give them the link to book in the call. And a lot of what you can do on stories is start entertaining people rather than just telling them where to go. So relating it back to DJ Annabelle, who I mentioned at the start, she will tell you about the lunch that she's ordered that she's annoyed she spent £17 on a salad. And then she'll tell you why it was something impulsive. She liked the look of it, but it's quite disappointing. And you just feel like you're part of her journey after doing that. And so then when she finally says, there's 100 tickets on sale for this gig and I'm hyped, her super fans want to buy a ticket. And if you stop looking at social media as a transactional thing, I post X, I make Y. If you start just investing in the fans, a lot of good things happen. And I think that might be the place to open up Q&A. That might be the place to see and ask, what did you guys think of this? Is this too basic? Is this needed? Did you find this useful? Which of these 10 did you want to apply? Let's open the floor up if we can. I'm glad, Joe. I'm glad, Shelley. Really glad. I love that phrase, Asia. I started Instagram as a gratefulness diary. I feel like when I very authentically engage in the moments and feelings, this is what people engage with too. That's fire. I may borrow that phrase, Asia, a gratefulness diary. Thank you. Marilyn, I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, details is everything. I wanted to share my screen and make sure you see what I see. Hi, Sophia.
Hey, yes, thank you so much. That was super interesting. So if we're talking about like stories as a persuasion strategy, we're kind of talking about stories in terms of who's already following us. And in terms of, we didn't touch much today on like, in terms of how to use what Instagram already gives us to like find new followers. Is that because it's not like CEO optimized anyway? Like TikTok is better for that. So like get people on TikTok and then like move them to Insta.
That's a really cool point. I love that you brought this up. So one way of using stories to expand your audience is to mention other people in your story. So if you are wearing some cool headphones and you tag, I don't know, Bose headphones in your story, they may share yours onto their story, opening you up to lots of other people. If you did a really cool studio session with a producer and you tag that producer's likely going to reshare you onto their story, opening you up to all of their fans. So when done at scale, this is the method to use stories for growth. But also, if you do a really, really engaging story, it does start to recommend you to other people. I remember one time I was sat in a shisha cafe and there was a dude next to me. He knew he looked like Drake. He'd cut his hair that way. He had like styled himself to look like Drake. So I put it out on my Instagram story. Oh my God, Drake is sat next to me in this cafe. I knew it wasn't. And my story went nuts. I think it had 1,500 views. And everyone kept DMing me, oh my God, are you serious? Are you serious? And so I say all that to say, you can actually expand the growth of the number of people watching, the number of people engaging, and it gets people to reply to a story. That signals the algorithm that it's highly engaging. Show it to more people. The more people can reply to content, the better. So that photo you just saw of my son on my shoulder in our football jersey, that also went crazy because a lot of people said, oh, really cute. And so the more you can create the content people reply to, the better it does for you. I wouldn't say more effective, Sophia. I would say they have different purposes. Your reels and your posts are your evidence for long term. You know, they stay forever. It's written in ink. But your stories are written in pencil and they delete after 24 hours. So if you're marketing a song only through stories, it will delete itself. And so when a radio DJ is looking at your account 3 months from now on your next song, they'll see no evidence of your campaign. But if you've done reels and posts, there's 9 to 27 posts about your song campaign, so they can see the evidence of it. I hope that helps. Of course, Shelley, go ahead.
Thanks. I think it's really interesting, like knowing about like the different ways that they kind of like measure engagement. And I think you mentioned a couple of them, like people sort of holding down to read text and the amount of replies. Is there any others that you think it's good for us to know about?
Great question. Watch time is a huge one. So more so applying to reels, but also to stories. If you have a 30-second Instagram story, if people only watch 3 seconds, that is a 10% completion rate and watch time. But if you have a 10-second story that people watch 9 seconds, that's a 90% completion rate and watch time. And so the 10-second video is going to perform better and get seen by more people. And so intentionally keeping your content short, sweet, no fluff, and to the point helps. And one method I do personally, I have an app called Cut Story, C-U-T Story. And it basically just takes a long video and it perfectly cuts it up into little chunks at a time you choose. So you could choose each clip 10 seconds. And I know Instagram has that facility it did. Remember, it used to cut up one Instagram story into lots of 15 seconds. Do you all remember that? And nowadays it publishes the whole thing up to a minute long, I believe. So to answer that question, I know I went on a tangent, but intentionally keeping your content short and sweet keeps the watch time higher, and that makes more success on a video.
Great, thank you very much.
Of course. Sophia, retention rate. What advice would you give to people who don't feel comfortable currently sharing talking videos on stories? Great one, Maisie. I would use the faded filter effect that we showed, and I think it was number 5. But you take the photo, you use the highlighter tool to wash it all out in gray, and you type all over it. That's probably the first step to begin with. And you don't actually have to show your face. You could show architecture, you could show a sunset, you could show other things than yourself in the studio. And gradually you may build up to being comfortable to talk without showing your face as a voiceover. And eventually you'll build up even further. I hope that helps, Maisie. Sure, Archie. I'll do that in a second. Sophia, what do you mean? You mean no internet, just offline marketing again?
Yeah, like old days.
Personally, I don't think so.
Really?
I just think, like, you know, when billboards and newspapers and offline stuff, I just don't think that's where our attention is. Everyone's attention is on their phone, like, all the time. And so I don't personally see, I think we're going to get more technologically advanced rather than less. I hear you. Jacobin, replace promotion with emotion. That one phrase is just the only way out for me, is every time you think you're about to announce something, speak it from the heart. That's the best way, in my opinion, to really market anything. Right, so Archie, I'll show you how to do the highlight one again. Take any picture. Hope you can see my phone. You can see my phone here. You take any picture, and personally, I like to use the black and white filter first. Then you, at the top corner, hit the 3 dots. You click draw. Instead of the first tool, you click the 3rd one, the highlighter. Pick any color, and then just hold down with your finger to make the whole screen in that color. And you could even use the eraser tool and very messily mask something out. If you want to get hyper creative, you could even write the release date of your next song. Right? There's a lot of different ways where you can use these effects to get really, really, really creative about what you want to do. So Archie, anywhere on the screen, anywhere. Once you've selected the highlighter and the color, just hold down, press your finger anywhere in the middle of the screen. So Francesca, you're using this tool, the pen, and you need to be using this tool, the highlighter. Right? And then you press, I'll just press the middle of the shoe and just hold to make it go completely transparent. No problem, no problem. Archie, you good now? Let me know, Archie. Missing some questions. Jacobin, what other phrases, questions would I use to make my stories emotional? I often come from a place of involving the fans. So for example, let's say, guys, I need your help. Which video do you want to see first? I want to give you what you need. So I'm coming from a place of helping them rather than deciding what I want to create. Or another way to make it emotional be, guys, I'm so blessed to just stepped out of an amazing conference in Scotland. I cannot wait to serve you with the best possible marketing videos compared to any other music marketer out there. And so I'm just literally speaking from the heart. That's a true story. And so, agreed, it does depend on the emotion. You just want to share how you're feeling without just giving people the action that you're asking for. So rather than saying, my song is out now on YouTube, you can say, months of hard work and sleepless nights have led to this moment right here. This music video is a gift for you. I know that's very fluffy. Some of you may not communicate in that sort of language, but it tells people how hard you worked on the video, that they want the content. Kathy, sorry, you've had your hand up a while. Kathy, was that a question, or does anyone else have any other questions?
Hi, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was just going to say, I've got a couple of questions, if that's okay.
Of course, yeah.
My first question is about the algorithm on Instagram. With like hashtags and stuff, it was a way for a long time where like the more hashtags you post, the further it gets. And then I know recently they changed it, so I think it's only like 3 to 5 they recommend. I was going to ask, what other changes did they make to the algorithm recently?
Sure. Personally, I think many creators would agree, hashtags on Instagram are pretty useless nowadays. They are simply a way to categorize your content as he, she, they are a singer, rather than attracting any new community. Hashtags on TikTok can be effective. I'm having some good success with them personally on TikTok, but the smaller hashtags are better than the larger hashtags. My opinion for you is, Kathy, get the messaging, the emotion, the narrative, the concept of your posts right, rather than worrying which tags to put. I wouldn't call it a needle mover anymore compared to how it used to be. Does that help? I hope.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
And you know, as you said, you had more questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so thanks. I missed the first 10 minutes. I wanted to ask, I think point 1 and 2 looks like you put a picture on another picture. I was just gonna ask how you did that, if that's okay. Sorry, I know you've already gone through it, but I really want to know. I'm trying to do this for ages.
So put a picture on another picture. I'll bring my screen up and show. Right. So there's 2 ways of doing it. The first is to go to your camera roll, and in the bottom corner, hit the square with the arrow, and then click copy photo. And then when you go to Instagram, there's a video or a photo, as if you were typing new text, you tap once and click paste. And then you can move it around wherever you'd like. That's method 1. Or method 2 is hit the smiley face, scroll down a smidge to this next to the temperature, the picture icon, and then you could pick the same photo. 2 methods to do the same thing. I hope that helps, Kathy.
Sorry, I didn't get the smiley face one, so I don't have an iPhone, so I can't do the first one. Oh, actually, I just found it. Okay, sorry, thank you.
I think it does work on Samsung as well, I believe. So, yeah, you can, if you're on Samsung, you can copy the photo, still paste it in. Or the second one, as I said, is the smiley face. Scroll down to this little mountain and sun. This one here, on the right, under the date, next to the temperature. And then you can pick any picture again that you like.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. And your other questions still? Kathy, did you have other questions? Or Sophia, you can take over. Go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, I think just like to say that I think we are living in a society that like is drawing this attention economy increasingly online, and I think it's like very like I think it's a very interesting and maybe even important thing to do as an artist, to consider like where our attention can be gleaned offline in offline spaces.
Nice.
I will always be a voice for that the more and more that I go forward in my career, which I am excited to commence. But it's, yeah, I just think it's a really important point to make on this course, because obviously we need technology now, but not forever necessarily, you know.
I do agree with you in principle, dude. I think there's always a place for gigs. There's always a place for billboards. There's always a place for, you know, not living on a screen. However, I think the actual consumption pretty much of life happens via a device in some way, shape, or form. And you stream your music from a device. You don't really put a CD that you bought in a HMV into a Walkman anymore, or a car. And so I think there's always going to be a place for the digital element to attract you, to want to save it to your library, to want to, you know, share that you're listening to it online. I think there is definitely like a social media element to consumption and streaming as well. Would you agree? I'm happy to be challenged on that as well.
I think you're not wrong. But then I come back with like, I think like having that care for my audience is probably what motivates me to make music. It's not really about like me or whatever. So yeah, as someone who feels that way, I think that yes, important to, like, as an artist, all I'm saying is, yeah, of course we need to engage with technology now and social media now, because it's like the ecosystem in which we're living. But I think increasingly just to be aware of, yeah, attention beyond the online space, I think is a very interesting thing.
Yeah. So I think maybe for an artist like yourself, you'd bring back fan meet and greets. At every gig you do, you make sure you say, guys, you put out a tweet on digital to say, meet me at the front of the stage in 5 minutes. I want to give you all hugs. And maybe how you do it is to use a combo of the two, to use social to get people messaging to meet me backstage and we'll come and have some drinks. And you can use the combo of the two, maybe. How does that sound? Or you just shout on the mic at the actual gig and not use your phone at all. That's the other way of doing it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I guess, yeah, it depends what the implications of offline communities are in future, you know. I think it's interesting, you know, you could where you take it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not something I've thought about, so.
Of course.
Yeah.
Francesca, I do. I actually have a QR code on a business card, and I don't ever give it to them. I just say, just scan this. And then it takes them to like a link tree or a link in bio, and they can connect there. I can't remember the last time someone gave me a business card and I actually did anything with it, other than just put it in my wallet and just leave it there. But if you say, no, here's a QR code, scan this, and then it opens up a web page on their phone, that is quite effective. Yeah. Funnily enough, right, I went to a conference a few months ago, and I've actually, from my primary phone, uninstalled all social media. So as a social media coach, I'm addicted to social media. And so on my primary phone, I only have WhatsApp, right? And there's nothing else on there. And my content phone that you see here is where I have all social media on there, but no SIM card. There's no SIM card in this phone. So when I am out in Tesco, when I am with family at their houses, I don't ask to connect to Wi-Fi. I'm completely oblivious to all my notifications. And when I get back to my house, then I get everything and I can deal with it when I'm not present in the moment. So that's just a tip from me to you, like 2 phones, yeah, one with no social and one with no SIM card. Best thing I ever did. Yeah, I'm happy to give you guys that. That was, yeah, a life-changing thing for me. And even recently, I cheated. I installed Instagram on my personal phone because I needed the DMs, because I was doing a sale. I was doing a sale to get people into my coaching program, sending a lot of DMs every single day. And it was toxic. I deleted it 2 days later. Like, I couldn't stand it no more. So yeah, I think that's a really random place to leave it, but I think we can leave it here. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to connect with me at social media Ayaz on all channels. I have a podcast on YouTube and Spotify called All About Helping. I'd love for you to give me some feedback if you like the episodes.